this before.
I really appreciate y'all for coming out here all the way from Mississippi and spreading some knowledge. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you for
For
having us.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think we found it was the episode with Carson, the comedian.
Really?
Yeah, I saw him share a clip, and I think that's how I found you.
Yeah, he was our host last year.
No way.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Yeah, he was a trooper about it too because we had a lot of raffle prizes
Right.
last year. I mean, what would be the guesstimate?
I'd say easily 80 different items to raffle off, like plus the a guitar. What was that we had last year for the auction?
Yeah, from the Hard Rock. But we had like a whole list of every single one, and he had to sit there and announce every one as I was drawing the tickets out. It was just standing there.
He's the man for the job, though.
Yeah, no, he did it definitely. It was a good time, and I've seen him also. He did some comedy nights over at the Blues Club downtown at Ground Zero, and I was there for a couple of those when I worked there. So, yeah, it was cool to see that he was on here as well.
From his podcast with me, that's not the toughest thing that he's done as a comedian. Yet, so. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys for coming out here. What type of pet per type of instrument do you think would be the best assimilated, if that makes sense? Like a greyhound with a tuba or something, you know?
I think if you combined a cat with a trombone, you'd get a pretty good sound.
God, and why is that?
Well, they both yowl, you know. They both can do a good glissando, I think, if you know. I don't know if I've ever heard a cat do a glissando, actually.
That's awesome. Cat trombone.
I think an orange cat gives percussion energy.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I have an orange cat. His name is Bowie, and he definitely is very percussive between the hours of 1 and 3 in the morning. So definitely, I can get on board with that sentiment.
He's a great singer too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he very. What would you say?
More like death metal.
Yeah, very,
He's
very,
like,
very metal. It's this voice that he does. It's not even his actual meow. It's his "I'm hungry" meow, and it's like something from an ASPCA commercial. Like you can hear in the arms of the angels in the background when he's just going, "Meow, meow," and then he'll turn around and he'll be like, "Meow." Like he's learned how to manipulate the one that gives him food.
When the music hits you, you can't control it. You got to release it.
Yeah, very that.
Welcome to the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast.
Welcome, guys, to the Gulf Coast Music Podcast. Today's new wave, Frets for Pets. Yeah, so tell me about the inception of the festival.
Well, this is actually technically going to be our 10th year, but the first couple of years were Dimitri over here kind of just doing it solo. And you want to speak on that for a second? Yeah.
So this was 2015. A friend of mine, we got together and did a canned food drive and small benefit show for homeless people. And it was, the date was terrible. It was December 30th, so right before New Year's. Now doing it for so long, I know that's a terrible date to book a benefit show, but we raised like $300 and some cans and stuff, and I enjoyed doing it. It was a charitable thing, and I went online and asked, what cause does the coast want to benefit? I was thinking at the time to do one every 6 months, a summer one and a winter one.
All like a festival each time?
Yeah, and at that point it was just one day, but overwhelmingly animals was the winner. So
Why do you think that is?
quite frankly, animals are a lot nicer than humans. So yeah, I think that was the main reason. Plus, almost everybody has a pet in their home.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, we did the first one in 2016, and it was a blast. It was mostly metal bands and I think one DJ, and been going at it since.
Yeah. When it was time to incorporate the charity properly, though, Dimitri came to me. My thing is also very involved with the local music scene. I love all the local bands, as everyone should. Everyone should check out their own local scenes, you know. But he needed someone to be a co-founder to get the 501c3, and I was like, you know what, I love this. I think I had played it a few times by then anyway.
Yeah.
And felt like a slam dunk to be a part of. And we've just been kind of rolling with it ever since. And we've got more board members. This is our current sitting president, Alex. Say hello, Alex.
Hello. Yeah, I hopped on board probably about maybe 5 years ago, and at the time I was just a tiebreaker. And I think that year we were trying to get sponsors, and I don't know why, I just hyperfixated on it. So I was just reaching out to all these different people, and
You've done a great job getting sponsors.
I appreciate it. That year I was reaching out to a lot of local businesses, and a lot of them I didn't even know about. I was just kind of, shot in the dark. And then,
I mean, Tito's, State Farm, I would have thought it was the Super Bowl.
yeah,
Right.
Tito's has actually been a recurring, big sponsor for us.
And how does that work? That you have, both ends of the spectrum with the local and nationwide businesses.
Well, I've noticed that, with Tito's, they say, for vodka for dog people. And as far as I know, they're pretty heavy into doing stuff
Gotcha.
like that. And Dimitri could probably tell you more about, how that actually started. Because by the time I hopped on board, they were already pretty regularly working with us. But I was reaching out to, I don't know if you've been to any cons or anything like that, but there's a convention out in Pensacola called Pensacon.
Gotcha.
And at the time, I was in contact with the dude that actually came up with it, and I reached out to him and I was like, "Hey man, I'm working with this charity. We've got this event going on. I was wondering if you would be able to, maybe help us out." And we got a sponsorship from him too. And after that happened, they were like, "Do you want to really hop on the board instead of just being a tiebreaker?" And I was like, "Sure." And after a couple of years, because there's only a 3-year term limit that you can have for sitting president. And
Well, that's our what's it called? Charter?
Our bylaws.
Bylaws. That's our
Yeah.
bylaws.
yeah,
And so you guys are bigger than just a club that hosts festivals for, you guys have a set.
And you have to have basically a board of directors for a nonprofit. If you're registered 501c3, you have to have a president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. You have to have at least those 4. Anybody else is considered a tiebreaker. You can give them titles and stuff, but you have to have that to be incorporated. And you got to submit that to the state whenever you incorporate, and just red tape.
essentially.
Gotcha. So has it become tougher then to manage now that you become a nonprofit?
I'd love to.
Yeah, go right ahead.
If I may. It's always kind of been not for profit, but since becoming a nonprofit, we've actually expanded it a lot too. Like Dimitri mentioned earlier, it was just one day when we started. I think the year after I came on, or the next year after that, we went to 2 days. Now we're at 4 days for this year's event, and this is Thursday all the way through Sunday. We're starting
Right.
with a comedy night this Thursday.
Oh, man.
I believe that's hosted by Landmass Comedy, right? Grangus Gillespie.
Just crank it. He's not.
Okay. Okay. I didn't realize. Sorry about that, Grangus. Please, don't kill me. But then, and after that, which is going to be a really fun kickoff, we're going to have 3 days of just killer local and regional acts that honestly are hard to parse through. We get so many submissions every year, and I think
And that's one of the hardest parts for me personally, and I think all of us, is whenever we have to sit down and go through every band and listen to them and kind of weed through who will make it. Because last year we had, if I remember correctly, it was 53 submissions, and we normally only have enough slots for between, I would say, 23 to 27, 28 bands, depending on how those time slots pan out.
And the bands aren't getting paid for this, right?
They all donate their time.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
Right.
Every single
Yeah,
one.
this
what
is-
a position. Yeah.
Yeah, the entire event is just everybody out of the kindness of their hearts and the love
Right.
of the cause, putting in their time, their energy, and love into making it happen. And
Right.
that's just been the fuel for the event every single year.
We've got 2 bands coming from Texas,
Yeah.
and we've got a couple from New Orleans and Jackson, Mississippi.
Dream
Traveling-
Stereo. Shout out Dream Stereo.
Yeah, they're traveling a good way, and they're doing it on their own time. It's very grateful for the people doing this, because without that, this wouldn't be what it is. Right?
It was wild too, because whenever they reached out to us, so what had happened was we had a boosted Facebook ad,
Yeah.
and I think whenever Dimitri went to do it, without realizing it, it was beyond like just the local level.
Got
So
it.
we had people from like New York and New Jersey and Chicago.
And some of those acts were really fun too. It was
Yeah,
kind of a shame.
yeah, really. But Dream Stereo reached out, and by this point, I'd already talked to so many bands to be like, "Hey, this is where we are.
Right.
This is what we do. This isn't really like a paid gig. We're a nonprofit." And they're from South Texas, and they were like, "Nah, dude, we'll absolutely go." So they drove 8 hours to play the show, and then immediately packed up and went 8 hours back because they had work in the morning. And they even tried to, they couldn't stay until the very end, but they stayed for a lot of the other bands. And then they hit us up this year and we're like, hey, we got our friends are in this band called Identity Crisis. Can they come with us? So they're all piling in this time and driving all the way out just to
You need a Red Bull
support
sponsor
it.
now.
Right?
Yeah.
That's actually a fantastic idea. Someone write that down. But it's really cool to see over time how like the diameter of like who knows about us has been expanding.
Right.
It feels like almost exponentially.
Ladies and gentlemen, our second catch of the night, Contingents. If you like live music, the Gulf Coast Music Listening Room event at Spring Hill College is where you should be on Saturday, September 27th at 7 p.m. For $10, come enjoy some originals and make connections with other music lovers. A listening room is a respectful environment for the sole purpose of observing great music. As of now, no alcohol or any other outside substances will be permitted. To buy pre-sale tickets, find us on Cash App at $ Gulf Coast Music and show us your receipt at the door. We'll have t-shirts. See you guys there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't let the dogs out. The City of Mobile Animal Shelter has many loving pets ready for a nice home. Whether you're looking for a dog like Snoop or a cat like Doja, the City of Mobile Animal Shelter is where you can find your next friendly companion. They're located at 855 Owen Street, and you can stop by anytime between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We all need a little bow wow in our lives. Call 251-208-2800 because the City of Mobile Animal Shelter has you covered. That's 251-208-2800. Roof. It's saying there were 53 contestants, I guess.
give or take, yeah. And we all just, because we're all friends. We've been friends for a really long time. So we all met up at my apartment, and I just put my phone on the TV, and we went through each submission. Yeah. And
You should invite the pets. Yeah, let the pets do the voting.
Right.
Whatever band gets the most howls.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe
But
we could do one pick like that between 3 bands, like live on Facebook.
we have Tip, Bowie, Lucy, and Charlie.
Yeah, wherever the animals go.
Yeah.
That one. That's something. Let's log that for later.
Yeah, write that down too. But it was really cool to see that happen. But a lot of the bands that we have local, they show up and show out every year.
Right.
So that's a consistent, but it's really cool to see.
And how many fans are we talking?
How many what?
Fans.
Fans?
Right.
Oh,
You're talking like attendance
Couldn't-
per year?
couldn't even
So
tell you.
typically around 200 or more, at least. Yeah. I think, right, about at least
I mean,
200
it fluctuates day
per
to
day.
day.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. I'm talking per day. So, like,
Yeah.
over the course of a weekend,
Per
who
day.
knows? Yeah. And it's an outside venue with a really nice stage. And we have it's an outside venue with a really nice stage. The Juke Joint in Ocean Springs, iconic classic venue. And they have a lot of space, so we'll have a vendor selection and a lot of room for people to come out and have fun. Yeah. There's always room for more.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it's tremendous to see how it's come from a one-day event to having the luxury of doing 4 days, knowing it's going to kill, and it's kind of it seems like it's what the culture of music is all about. That while it is selling tickets, it's not free. It's promoting a great cause, and that's why people are so ambitious to buy those tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all usually do August, though. Why is it September this year?
Okay, hold on. First of all, I have been asking this man to stop doing this in the hottest weekend of the year every year for 8 years, I think. Finally, you have listened to reason.
Well-
Can you expand on that, Dimitri?
So I picked August because I always did the first weekend of August because it was right before school started, so I knew I'd be able to catch the all ages bracket before everybody went back to school. The families are still out doing their stuff, but last I guess 2 years ago, it was just unbelievably hot, and
In 2023, I started a serious motion to rename it Sweats for Pets.
yeah,
It was that hot. It was Saturday night. It was midnight. We were all tired. We'd been there since like 10 a.m. I checked my phone. It was 100 degrees outside at midnight.
Yeah. We
Heat
had-
index of like 105.
Nothing like doing setup and breakdown in that heat, too. I tell you what.
And we had a lot of bands, you know, like we have a lot of metal bands, and, you know, a lot of them are wearing like the full garb and everything. And like our friend Shredley, who's playing again this year, he was like, man, I almost had heat stroke out there, you know, and it got to the point where we were like, even though we have a dunk tank, which has been an absolute lifesaver, we're like, maybe we should change it. And Dimitri went on the Facebook page and was like, so we heard that y'all want to make this a little bit later in the year because of the heat. And he put up a poll and it was like 89%. We're like, please, God,
I think
we
the
need a
people who voted
break.
No, we're just trolling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's no way.
Absolutely.
I wanted to keep it, but
Oh, dude, it
I don't
was
blame
sweat
him.
and bullets every year. But you know, it even last year we had it in October, which, I mean, the weather was a lot easier to deal with, but also it was right after Cruising the Coast, which, you know, was major event. It was the week after, so people were either partied out or they were heading home. There was also Equality Fest and the Tattoo Expo at the Coliseum, so there were a lot of things happening that same weekend that it hurt our attendance a little bit. So this year we tried to kind of like make a compromise and meet in the middle for the end of September. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting when you're planning for events that far out that you really can't predict what's going to be at the same time. You just got to hope. Let's see. Well, what goes into coordinating this event besides picking a date and juke joint?
Everything starts the day after the event. We start planning the next year as soon as it's over with.
Nick Saban.
So it takes, we have like 1 or 2 meetings a month and it goes all year. It never stops, full time.
1 or 2 meetings a month. That seems awful.
We do our best.
Yeah, the best we can because we all work. You know, like serve and bartend and what have you, and you know, it's being in the service industry, trying to line up schedules, especially whenever they can change frequently. That's kind of a pain in the rear, but as much as we can. And like last year, everything finished up, and I was like, y'all are gonna have to give me a couple of days. Let me sleep, because I mean, you're talking about we get there early in the morning the day of to help set up and everything, and then at the end of the night we're there into, you know, the wee hours of the morning on the weekend, Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday, even though the noise ordinance is at 10 and we have to take it inside, we still have to start breaking stuff down, and we'll still be there until the a.m.
Yeah.
So it's a very laborious thing. So as soon as it's over and my head can hit the pillow, like, y'all don't talk to me for at least 24 hours. I gotta recharge. But yeah, it's as soon as we can, we try to get a leg up on things and start the process all over again.
And yeah, so what are like some typical conversations in December, January when it's so far out?
You can take that one, Meat.
And I guess the first thing is what did we do this year that just didn't work that we needed to fix, and we get a lot of input from the bands and the attendees and volunteers and the vendors, like, how can we make this better for y'all? Because I mean, after all, y'all doing this for free, like, how can we make this better for y'all? And we get their input, we try to adjust, and we start on that, and then we immediately start looking for sponsors. A lot of the time, companies, they have to look for their, I guess it's called philanthropy budget,
Right.
and they usually have that done way early in the year. So we try to catch that before.
That's smart. Yeah.
Because I know some places, whenever you ask for a charitable donation, you have to ask 3 to 6 months in advance before your event.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are buying your Halloween costume in January.
Essentially,
Basically.
yeah.
Hey fighters, listen up. Are you tired of feeling like your conditioning holds you back in competition? It's time to bridge the gap between theory and real performance. At Dexter's Fitness Center, we're launching a combat sports strength and conditioning program designed for boxers, kickboxers, MMA fighters, and combat athletes who want to get faster, stronger, and more flexible while building the endurance to go the distance. No more outdated workouts, no more burnout. This program is built to enhance your skill work, prevent injuries, and maximize your potential without wasting your time or overwhelming your body. Training starts August 12th at Dexter's Fitness Center, 1900 Government Street, Mobile, Alabama. Sessions are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. and Saturdays from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. If you're ready to step into every fight confident, prepared, and in peak condition, call 251-709-2654 or email contact@dextersfitnesscenter.com today. Let's build the fighter you're meant to be. Music feeds the soul, but food feeds the future. Right here on the Gulf Coast, thousands of families don't know where their next meal is coming from. Feeding the Gulf Coast is changing that tune one meal at a time. Imagine this. For every $1, you can provide up to 5 meals. That's like turning a quiet solo into a full-blown jam session of hope for someone in need. Let's turn the volume up on kindness and down on hunger. Visit feedingthegulfcoast.org to donate today, because together we can make sure no one goes hungry on or off the stage. Feeding the Gulf Coast, because every community deserves an encore. What is, I know that y'all don't have the times for the bands on here, but I'm sure that you have times prepared in a notebook somewhere. What's that process like? Do you decide based on the bands?
Oh man. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. So a lot of the times we kind of adjust the time sets for each band on a number of factors, but we also have to account for breakdown and setup of the next band. So we try to give that about a 20-minute time slot in between. So depending on what time we're starting the event, it's pretty much just like filling the gaps and changing the size of the gaps and the times and having to think about setup. So for earlier acts in the day, like this Saturday, we've got Craig Cortello, fantastic. He does. So Craig Cortello, he does a lot of music about adopting animals, which I don't know how it took us so long to run into him, but he's on the lighter side instrumentally. So
he does music about adopting animals.
Yes, it's fantastic. He's the full thing is Craig Cortello, the K9 crooner. If you want to look him up on YouTube, his songs are so cute. I love them. Cool. Yeah, he's a really good dude too. And so for stuff like that, we could take that setup time down, 5 to 10 minutes. But whereas for the full scale bands, they're going to need a lot more time. And a lot of the times that's later in the evening.
Right.
So there's a lot of factors that change and that's why I say we have time for, 20 something to 20 something bands, because it always depends on what those setup times are going to look like.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Have there been any stressful circumstances?
So like 2 or 3 years ago, we had a band which will remain nameless for the current moment, but they went 20 minutes over their time slot.
Can't do that. Yeah.
And I mean, good show. I like the band. They know who they are. Shout out, but
Adrenaline's a bitch.
that kind of ruined the night for some bands,
Yeah.
I like how, hold on, if I may, you said, have there ever been any, frustrations in doing this? And it's just all of us are like Vietnam flashbacking, dude. Just, okay, sorry.
A lot of the times the issues are going to be keeping up with the schedule, which is why on top of those setup times, I also try to make time, because I'll come up with like a rough draft and then we'll all kind of work together to fine tune it. But I always try to make extra time at the end of the night for, moments and stuff like that, which is what Dimitri was working on earlier with the schedule previously, because I haven't been able to work with the schedule much, but 30 minutes or so at the end of the night in case someone goes overtime or something happens during setup time or something like that. But that in itself is probably more stressful in my opinion than actually picking out the bands, because on top of the time slots, you also have bands that can only play this day or this day at this time or this time because one member has to work or they have a gig on another day. And so we can have everything like set up exactly the way it fits. and then one of the members will be like, hey, we can't actually play that day. And this happens for months leading up to the event, so we're constantly having to change it. And then,
Fixing that schedule is a hammering away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really
I'll say
is.
This year has hands down been the easiest schedule makeup in the 10 years I've been doing this. Like we've had two issues, not issues, but had one band they just split up all of a sudden, and it's right after we got the flyer made and all the flyers printed, so we had to find a replacement. And unfortunately, there's two bands that aren't listed on this physical flyer, but online it's adjusted. So I hate it for them because they don't get the appropriate promotion.
Right.
But yeah, it's part of the game.
Yeah, and that's the struggle with it too, because we have to get those flyers as early out as possible so we can send them out everywhere we need to. And those last minute adjustments or last minute bands we have to get on board. If we have the flyers 3 months in advance and we have a band that needs to be replaced a month in advance, then they kind of get the short end of the stick exposure wise. But we do our best to make up for it, like Meat said, online, in any way that we can that's adjustable at the time.
That's a funny nickname.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's. The concept of managing a festival. I threw a couple concerts with the help of the school and some friends during the school year these past couple of years at Spring Hill, and there were some obstacles, but to arrange with people coming from out of town, I could see why you would need the entire year to plan for something like this. Do people bring pets to the?
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's outdoor and the juke joint is pet friendly.
Right.
Yeah, we usually have a handful of animals that show up, and the juke joint actually has their own bar cat. Shout out to Forrest. Love Forrest.
Best bar cat.
Yeah, he's such a cutie. So last
Of all
year,
the bar cats.
yeah, he's the best. But he was just an itty bitty kitten last year. He was the new
Sipping
addition,
on that dirty
and
milk.
yeah, and now he's like all grown up, and it makes my heart sad. But yeah, as he should be. He deserves it.
Since he was in that awkward skinny phase.
Oh no,
You know
him's
what I
big
mean?
boy now.
Oh wow.
Him's big boy now.
He's in a skinny era.
But yeah, it's absolutely pet friendly. So if anybody wants to come out and bring their fur baby, more than welcome to. But
Does that create a liability?
it's nothing that we've ever really run into. We have had situations where some people, for whatever reason, they just don't want to keep their animal on a harness or a leash. And there have been times where an animal would get spooked and take off and maybe run into something or something like that. But that's at the owner's discretion. And most, pet owners, they know when they're like, oh, wait, hold on, we need to, kind of intervene. But other than that, everybody that brings their animals, they're animals that get along with others. So we never have any aggression or anything like that.
We've yet to have a guard dog or an attack cat.
Yeah.
Or a
We need more cats,
paramilitary
though.
goldfish.
We need more cats.
I've never heard that.
Forrest can't be the only cat there. We get plenty of dogs.
Got a
But
security shirt.
bring your cats.
To be fair, have you ever tried to walk a cat?
Yes, I got a harness.
My cat won't walk, man.
So
It falls over.
Yeah.
my other cat, his name is Tip, and this he's a big cat. He's a little on the chonky side, but he's just a big cat.
He's a fat cat,
Stop.
man. Look, that cat
Look.
is fat, bro.
He's half this table.
It's a wonderful cat.
20 pounds.
But he's,
20 pounds
he's
of
big.
Garfield.
He's genuinely big, though. And I got him a custom-made harness because I was trying to harness train him. And I had to get one custom-made because he's so big.
Gotta buy a lasso for that.
I brought him outside, and he, sniffed a couple of bushes. And then he tried to dart. And even though on the website it was custom-made off Etsy, it was guaranteed that Houdini's couldn't get out. He started wiggling. I saw the Velcro start to break, and I was like, absolutely not. And that was the last time I tried to take him outside. And Bowie, I don't even want to attempt it because Bowie is not chonky. He is very long. He's very agile. Right. Tip can't even jump on the counter these days. If you see him try to jump, he just goes straight up and down. But Bowie can do full parkour, which is, why.
What was his name fresh out of the Humane Society?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I got Bowie at the animal shelter for Tip because he was very lonely. And
Spotted dog.
Slinky.
Sling.
Which at the time I
His name
was
was
like,
Slinky?
his name was Slinky. It was at Jackson County Animal Shelter.
fitting name.
And at first I was like, well, no, I want to give him a more refined name, like a government name, something he can put on a resume, you know? And my mom actually helped me come up with a name because I had him for a couple of weeks and I was like, not Slinky. I tried calling him other things. And she was like, well, what about Bowie? Like, you love David Bowie. Like, The Labyrinth is my favorite movie, you know? And I was like, actually, that's a good idea. And it just stuck. So now
That is
it's
a good name.
Bowie/Bobo. That's my baby, but he is an absolute terror. Stereotypical orange cat energy every time.
Good. That's funny. That's funny.
Is this broad labor? I'd like to talk to you about the possibility of moving a couple of things for me from my daughter's house to my garage.
So when you initially started, the tickets were $5 to get it off the ground, and now they're at a higher price, and you're getting more people, and it's great and all that. Where do you see it continuing to grow to and becoming?
Man, I'm looking at it now. It's 4 days. I don't think we'd have 4 days. And we got comedy. We got DJs.
Do you remember when we tried to have it in 2 states?
Yeah.
Briefly, we considered doing that, and I think that's something we'd still love to do.
I would love to do that still.
But maybe next year.
We're still learning Mississippi nonprofit stuff. Like doing it in other states probably even more red tape.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I would love to do that. No, we have talked about that, and I don't. So many people ask, like, well, why do you always do it at the juke joint? And, like, why not do it at one of the fairgrounds or something like that? And it's like, the juke joint's been home for a decade now. Like, they've been super awesome and letting us host it here.
And
forever.
really, shout out to Guido and Trench up at the Juke because they give us a lot of autonomy. They are very gracious with their space as hosts to us. And
They basically let us do whatever we want.
yeah, I can't imagine having, I mean, I'm sure,
And we don't pay them to be there. They pay us to be there.
they don't pay us at all.
I thought they cut us a check every year. No?
They let us
That-
use the
it's-
space though.
Yeah,
and they come
that's
up-
That's why I'm
allowing
the
us to use it.
hydration director.
You
But-
make sure everyone gets water.
yeah, or fake
Yeah.
Gatorade.
You've been lighting up too many joints.
No, I don't even do that.
No, but they do let us use the space, and they even come up with like a whole little cocktail menu for Fred's for Pets themed drinks, and it's outside. They have their
What's an
own.
example?
Last year we had it was called the Green Kitty, but kitty, so green tea, like a green tea shot.
cool.
So it was just little simple drinks like that.
But they have, their own dedicated stage outside, which is where we're gonna have all of the bands and acoustic acts, and then inside they have a stage with like a whole setup for. That's where we'll have DJs on Saturday night. We're having emo night, and then we have like a little area where there's the entrance under a booth where we can sit there and take tickets and not sweat our rears off and stuff like that. And it, like Meat said, it's home base. I started going there the moment I turned 21, for karaoke and stuff like that, and it was always just such a welcoming place. I always felt comfortable there, and so I just kept going back. And then I got to know everybody that worked there. And once I started working with Frets, I kind of was able to become someone who was like more behind the scenes, I guess. Like I was going in there before they would open to help set up for Frets, and I'd walk in the door with the lights off and be like, "This is weird, but okay." Like I don't know, it made me feel like I was a little bit more part of the family, and it really is all family pretty much. That's the vibe.
I mean, those are the places that succeed, right?
I say one of the more memorable behind the scenes moments. This is probably the third or fourth one we did. We got the dunk tank and filled it up, and I put my hand in it and I was like, "Whoa, this is really hot!" And dude, I went inside and was like, "Hey, why is this like?" I know it's 100 degrees outside, but there's no way this water is this hot because of that. And turns out there's a hot water spigot on the side of the building, and I used that to fill up the dunk tank and had no idea.
Dude's making a soup.
Yeah. So I'm taking the ice buckets and putting it in, and it ain't doing nothing. It's immediately melting. So I had to drain the whole thing and fill it back up. But I never get that let down.
Yeah, that's funny. Why do you think that emo was originally the genre that coincided with the Pets? I've got my own ideology.
I mean, you could probably just look at us and tell. Yeah, we all grew up with local rock music, and I mean, we're all millennials, so it's
Elder emo to some degree.
yeah,
At least
yeah,
one of us.
yeah, that's what was popular when we were younger,
And to be fair, there's a huge metal scene out where we're at. There's a lot of original music
Ocean
in
Springs.
various Ocean Springs, Biloxi, and it just it kind of came naturally both from like our interests and from just the fact that they're there.
yeah.
You know?
I think part of it was also like growing up like a big metalhead. It was like I want to show people that we're not all idiots that are crude, like, and it's like these people actually care and they give a damn.
Yeah, were you gonna say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, there are actually a lot of places that do dedicated emo nights in like New Orleans, and I think they might have some around here in Mobile, if I'm not mistaken. Like pretty much all over the place, they'll have emo nights, and strangely enough, a lot of like Shrek type of like raves, Shrek raves, yeah, and like there's it, especially for a generation that is so heavy into nostalgia and stuff like that. Anybody that has dipped their toes into any kind of alt scene, you've been in emo to some degree, or even pop punk, stuff like that, because I know there's kind of a distinction between the two. But like my favorite band is Paramore, so of course somewhere along that line I was listening to the stereotypical emo bands, know, and it's a good time where everybody can just kind of feel like back in the day and just dance around and not care.
I haven't dabbled into it as much, and I've fallen into that where I kind of see it as it's like the genre of music that is kind of misunderstood, and having emo bands on the podcast and people that are fans of heavy metal, it's been addressed that the nice nature is almost more prevalent in those bands, and then in doing something like this, it's just great to see. It's funny. You'll see like the emo band performance where guys are just raging and losing their minds, and then in the comments section will be like, "Had a great time. You guys are the best."
Yeah.
There's that. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say
you'll
see. No, I was just gonna say you'll see videos on Facebook of like the hardest metal bands and people sitting there like crowd killing and moshing and walls of death, and then you'll go talk to these people and they'll be the nicest people you've ever met.
Right.
That's what I was gonna say. It's a classic thing where it's just, they're up there, they're screaming, and growling, and doing things,
growling.
and it's like, "You really like the show? Thanks." That's sweet. I do want to say that just for clarity's sake, we have a lot of types of music on this show now. I, for one, have always pushed for a little bit more hip hop. I like a little bit of hip hop, but we have had Jared Dawes. Are we having Jared Dawes back this year? Okay, we couldn't get him this year, but we've had he's a great up and coming country name, dude to look out for. And we have acoustic acts. We do have hip hop acts. We have rock acts of varying genres. DJs are doing, I think, anything from EDM to electronic to rock and hip hop, and
get some Snoop Dogg and Doja Cat. Man.
Sure, why not, man?
So some of the other bands that we've worked with, and like Identity Crisis, for example, while still under the rock umbrella, whenever when we watched the music videos that they had, it's very 90s. It kind of gives you a little bit of like Pearl Jam, a little bit of Bush, and then being a 90s baby, I'm all about some grunge. But we've had folk folk punk music.
Right.
We've had
I saw there's
post
some country.
punk. Yeah, do a little bit of country.
We had a boy band from Hattiesburg. Shout out Fourth Offensive. They came down a couple years back.
man.
And do you notice that these guys have like a tough time following up an emo band, or is it just fluid?
No,
There's a
and,
mutual
pretty
respect.
fluid.
and I wouldn't really say that we have a lot of emo bands per se. The emo night is going to be we got DJs inside that are going to be playing songs and doing remixes of songs. We'll have a light show and stuff, and but as far as like the genres, it's a mix, and every year we try to make it a more diverse mix because while there is a very prevalent metal scene, we just want to support bands in general, and we never want to give the idea that we're only one or the other.
Sure. I was gonna say it's like if there were a genre for a dog or any animal in an animal shelter that was trying to break out, emo reflects that.
And then as soon as they get out, it's ska.
Bring back ska. I miss ska.
It feels like a meta joke.
I want,
Kind of, yeah.
I want to see trumpets, trombones, and a bunch of checkered print everywhere. I miss ska so much.
Do you remember we had Blackwater Brass one year, and their trombonist was kind enough to sit in with me on what I'd play it sometimes in one of my songs, and it turned it into a ska song.
I love that.
That was funny. Like, that was great. By the way, very gracious of them to share an instrumentalist, but just like, I remember thinking, this is a ska song now. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's just such a happy genre. Like you can't listen to ska and not be like doing this while you're listening to it a little bit, you know. And it's something that's not as popular nowadays. But I think I even shared a status on Facebook that I made a year ago from my memories.
It was today, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was today. A year ago today, I shared the memory that was like, bring back ska. I miss ska.
That's fine.
Like, you know, and but yeah, we try to have as many different types of music as possible. But, you know, whenever you work with a lot of friends in the industry and a lot of bands in the area, local bands, you know, you get a network of a very similar crowd. Like, you know, it started out more metal. So that's kind of been the most prevalent. But every year we get different types of artists. Like the last couple of years we had Xavi, and dude, he's so talented, and it's been really cool because the first time he performed, you could tell he was a little nervous, like he was still new to it. And then over the last couple of years, we've seen him like come out of his shell and start gaining traction. So
That's a
you
hip
know,
hop act out of Hattiesburg, by the way. The
Yeah,
guy is so
yeah.
talented. You're absolutely right.
yeah,
man.
he
He is a killer.
yeah. And then, you know, we had Jared Dawes last year who he's waiting to hear back on a Grammy nomination. So like this dude has just skyrocketed in popularity.
I haven't yet.
Oh, he's super awesome. Him and Katie Jones both, and
He lives around here. He's from Picayune, but
Cool. Send him over. Yeah.
yeah, he's been doing the damn thing. So to be able to have been involved at some part of that process, to have him on the stage with us,
Right.
and you know, then to kind of watch his journey. Same with Xavi, to be able to see the bands after the fact and kind of, you know who they are, follow them, and be able to be like, hey, we know those guys. That's super cool. And I don't know, just the whole thing about it. It feels like a big network, you know, of friends. It's not just band members. You get to know these people over time, you know, in ways that you wouldn't have otherwise known them.
Yeah, man. I definitely just envy what you guys have going on of just, you know, having a central passion that so many people can bond over, and then the benefits that bands are willing to do it for free, and again, that people are coming to just enjoy. It's awesome. It's really, really cool. Have you noticed a difference in adoption awareness since you started?
I would say yes, only because I mean we're helping the cause, and I mean that as like it's, you know how when you have a certain type of car, you see that car all the time now.
Sure.
It's kind of like that. And it's and you see it more like the Humane Society. They do a big old show at the Hard Rock. Jackson County, I think, does a little festival, an art festival for that. But yeah, like when you're in that scene, you see it a lot more.
Yeah.
I know it sounds weird, but I think you know what I mean, though.
I want to say, too, raising awareness for actual adoptions is really only a part of it, too, because the money that we raise for these shelters goes to things like food and wellness and enrichment, things like Kong peanut butter toys, things
Yeah.
that the
Yeah, I'll also
You know?
say, like, for people that don't know, like, whenever you donate a check to a shelter, they have a general fund, and this is no diss to anybody, but it's like, if you have a specific cause you want to put that money towards, let them know. Like, put it on the memo or make a note, because that general fund can go to fixing a flat tire or building a playground, and whereas you want to get heartworm medication for the 50 dogs in there instead, like you can make a memo to where it's for whatever you want it for.
Right.
Yeah, I do think that, like Dimitri was saying, kind of like in a confirmation bias way, but also when you have people come out, like we have a lot of friends and people who love the bands that come out to support the music, but you also have people that just kind of happen in and they're like, oh, what's this? And then they realize like what all we're doing specifically for the animal shelters.
Right.
And like who doesn't love animals? It's just a thing. And but every year we donate it between Jackson County Animal Shelter, the Humane Society, and Tired Dog Rescue. And we also try to work with the Humane Society and the shelter outside of just the event. Like
Right.
last year, we went to the Humane Society and we got to shoot a little promo video. We got to meet some of the animals that they're keeping, take them out to play and stuff like that. And there was one dog in particular. His name was Wilson. Loved him. I actually went back to the website like a day or two later, and apparently he'd been adopted.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I think that in some ways we make an impact on adoption, but for the most part, it's just helping to get the supplies, like Mark was saying, medication and spaying and neutering. Spay and neuter your animals, by the way. But they need those things.
Right.
And the shelters are consistently overrun. I think
They're over capacity
every time.
Yeah,
Every time.
I'd say
Jackson
10
County in particular has been very over capacity, and they really need.
I'd say 10 months of the year they're at overcapacity, and I know the local Humane Society, they just built an entire new kennel. I don't know if it's finished or not, but like it's insane how often they are at capacity.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that just goes to show real quick. I just want to say, like, if you get a pet, if you get a cat or a dog, that that's a responsibility you need to have until that cat or dog is gone from your life entirely. A lot of people will get like a puppy for a kid and then just not enjoy the dog and then give it over to the Humane Society. And we'd like to discourage that and encourage adoption. If you're going to get a pet, please go to one of these shelters because they absolutely need people adopting. And there are some really wonderful animals in there.
Oh, for sure, man, for sure. Yeah, the whole thing is wonderful. My mom volunteers, does walking for the local SPA.
Awesome.
SPCA.
That is awesome.
And she wants everything to do with this, so she's really excited that you guys are on here.
I forget what it's called, but where you basically rent the dog for the day and you bring it around.
Or something
Yeah,
like
and you bring it
that.
to all the bars and stuff, and it's got a vest that says "Adopt Me," and you just let them have a day.
Yeah.
And they go to all the dog-friendly places, stuff like that.
That seems like something that might be like picking up traction which I think is really cool, because there's so much that people can do outside of just donations and stuff like that to help with animal shelters and rescues. Like you can take a dog out for a day, or you can just advocate for the specific adoption of one animal, or if you've got some extra money, instead of just donating directly, just bring them a bag of cat food or something like that. Like there's a lot of those things you can do that doesn't need money per se. Another big thing is trying to avoid any more animals going into these shelters. So again, spay and neuter your animals. And like Mark was saying, I think a lot of people, they don't realize like just how much of a commitment it is to have a pet, because and not everyone is going to see it this way, and I respect that, but like my cats are my sons, like they are my babies. And regardless of whether or not you think of your pet as like a whole like human, equally family member type scenario, just as a living thing in your care, it is your responsibility to make sure that they are okay. If they are trusting you to make sure that they don't die or become abandoned, then don't abandon them and put them at risk of having to be euthanized, because a lot of times with adoption, it can be life or death. And I think that's something that people may be aware of, but they don't really want to think about because it makes them feel some type of way.
Right.
And there are situations where like you absolutely cannot help it but to rehome your animal. But there are also a lot of people that are just like, oh, we just don't feel like having this animal anymore, or this animal had kittens and we can't keep the kittens. And I think it's just a matter of respect for, things that have a heartbeat, man. Like, just take care of your babies. And, aside from just dropping them off somewhere, you can always take the time to try and rehome them privately as well.
Absolutely. I agree that spreading positive animal awareness just in general is definitely beneficial for society, regardless if you even have pets, just acknowledging that and understanding it. And I really appreciate you guys are blessing the platform in that way. And as far as the event or the festival, just historically speaking, things with good purposes definitely flourish, and I'm really excited to see where this goes. So is there anything else that you guys want to bring to the table?
Tickets are on sale now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tickets on sale now.
How are y'all selling the tickets?
On our Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah, there's a ticket link on the event page. Facebook. I think it's 40 for the day, 20, or 40 for the weekend, 20 for each day.
Which, if you buy the full weekend, that saves you anywhere from $20 to $40 if you do all 4 days.
Yeah, it's basically buy two get one free.
Yeah.
And it's September 25th through the 28th. We got comedy, music. Do we have the dunk tank again this year?
The dunk tank.
We got a dunk tank. You're gonna dunk somebody. Could be somebody cool. Come and find out.
Have to do a little doggy paddle.
Yeah, for sure. But we've obviously been talking about it already, but we have so many different bands, and a lot of them local, a lot of them not local. So if not for the animals, come support the music scene, and we'll have food, we'll have drink, we'll have animals and really good people and a good time, and it's all for really important causes that are all close to our hearts. So
Absolutely.
for sure, like, make it out if you can.
And we also really couldn't be doing this either without like all of our vendors. It's more than music. We have vendors that sell art, jewelry, clothes, pottery, holistic stuff. Like last year we had 19 vendors? 19 different vendors. So it's really something for everybody, even if you're not there for the music,
Yeah, it's amazing how y'all have grown this, man. It's truly a dream, it seems.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it up until Dimitri, I don't know. I've only been here for the last 5 years. I do not know how he kept his head on straight through the 5 years before that, even when it wasn't 3 days, because there is just so much
Coming
that
on
goes
10
into it.
years,
Man,
I didn't even know until a month ago that this was year 10.
Yeah, I was like, well, it's our 10th year doing this.
In
and
my
they're
mind,
like,
I'm like, okay, we started in 2016, 2026 makes 10 years.
Right.
And like, no, like, here's the
2016 is year one.
math. Right. And it's like, oh crap, this is 10 years. So
Wow, man.
That's just it's a lot, and just like mad respect for any amount of weight that's put into this. But I know that y'all carry a lot of it, and I just, man, I don't know how all of our hair hasn't fallen out to this point.
Well,
Like,
it's only 2 years in dog years, so y'all got a lot of time.
man, yeah, you're right.
Well, yeah, I really appreciate y'all, and really excited, and best of luck with how it goes. So,
Thank you, appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having
man.
us.
of course, thank you guys.
Welcome to the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast.